Hello guys, in this video we'll be looking at how you can parse a CSV file in a React app without having to use any packages. So in this video we're going to take a sample CSV file. We're going to read all the data from it and make it into an array of objects based on each column name, and then we're going to show those values in a table on our React app. Start by setting up a React app. So I'm already in the directory where I want to set up my React app, so I'm just going to go create React app, CSV reader, okay, npx. So npx create React app CSV reader. So to take a while, you can pause the video while you install yours. So after setup is complete, I want to cd into the file CSV reader, and then I want to open a VS Code window in that position. So I'll do code pop. Then the next thing, okay, so I'll just close the old window. Yeah, so we have a new React app here. So we're going to the app.js and we have a blank app template. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a CSV reader component. So in this CSV reader, first import my use state, because we'll be using that for storage from React. And let's just use a functional component since we're using React hooks. Function CSV reader. Yes, let me props. So inside it we'll have a const, say CSV file, set CSV file to equal to an empty state, and then we want to return the component. So let's go like this. So we call it a form. Use a form as our HTML element, and the ID CSV -form, and then inside this form we want an input box that takes the CSV file. So the type equal to file except .csv, and the ID you can set that to whatever you want. CSV file is what I'll call it here. And then on change, whenever the file gets changed, we want to update our CSV file. So we'll set that to CSV file to e.target.files 0. So after that, we need a submit button. So you can submit after you're done. So call this submit. We'll use that later on, but right now we don't need that one now, but we'll be using it later on. So I'm just going to put a break here to have some space between both items. So now I have a basic form where you can upload your CSV file, and that CSV file gets set to the state of the CSV reader component. So let's try out what we've done so far. So I'm going to pull up my terminal again. Okay. Pull it up again and I'll run yarn start. Okay, so 3001 still coming up. Okay, then one more thing. I have not exported this guy. So export default function. So inside of my app.js, I want to take away this information here and instead have the CSV reader there. So let me import CSV reader from /CSV reader, and here simply bring in CSV reader and save. So find whatever used. Okay, we'll fix this warning soon enough. But let's see if we have. So we have CSV file input here, where you can upload the CSV file and see what values you have. So I'll quickly formulate a CSV file so we can test this feature. So for this part, we'll be using React developer tools to see the result of our actions. So if you do not have this on your Chrome browser, you can search for it on Google, React developer tools, and find your way to this page and install it. I already have it on my browser, so just install it on yours. So going back to my app, you can see we have a choose file here and the submit button that we added, and you can see my components tab loaded, showing me all the available components in this page. So the only component we're checking today is the CSV reader. So I'm going to now upload a CSV file that I formulated to see if it gets into the system. So after adding the file, without clicking the button, you should be able to see these values in your state. So this means that the file has been set to the states, the CSV file state. If you have the same result, then you've been following properly. So next, we're going to see how we can display the results, the values inside the CSV file on the web page. So I'm going to just show you the content of the CSV file here. So let me open it again. Here's the file. So just in case you don't have your own CSV file, you can copy what I did here. So I just did name, age, rank, and just some random information. So you copy it and you save it, then you upload it to your app. You should be able to get this. So next, we're going to see how we can parse these values inside our app. So going back to Visual Studio, moving to our CSV reader component, we need an action for this button. So when it's clicked, it has to parse our CSV file that has been uploaded. So I'm going to say E, and then e.prevent default. Then to prevent errors, we should also check if we have a CSV file. So if CSV file, then we're going to have a submit function. This submit function will parse the CSV file. So now let's declare submit as an arrow function. It doesn't take any inputs. This arrow function, no need for that. We'll take the CSV file, so call this const file is equal to CSV file, and then I'll say const reader will be equal to new file reader. Now file reader is a class available to JavaScript by default, so you just have to invoke it here as a variable and use it to work on your files. So the next thing I'll do here is add an unload modifier here, which will help give us our text, results. We'll be logging our text here because what we're going to do with the reader is reader.read text. Now it's going to take the file, it's going to read this file as text. So ordinarily we won't get any response. So to get a response, I'm going to have to log the response inside of this place. So first I'll do is I'll set text is equal to e.target.result. Now this target.result will be the result of this action. Here. And so we want to see that result. So console.log text. That's all we're doing here. So first, when the submit is called, it sets CSV file to file, and then it creates a reader that then reads the file as text. And while reading the file as text, we log the response. We log the result of the action. So I'll save that and let's see if that worked. So I already have some stuff here. Just going to clear it like this here. So I'll submit here, and you can see name, age, rank. You see it read the CSV just the way we passed it in. So you can could refresh the page and see that again. So first you take the file in, it gets added to your state, sample.csv and all that, and then you submit it. You should see some values in your console. So with that, you've been able to read a CSV. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to put everything here in an array in a very organized manner so that you can see each person as a cell in an array, so you can work with it yourself. Now for the final part, we're going to create a process CSV function that will formulate our array from the CSV. So the first thing we want are the headers, and after the headers we need the rows. That's the remaining part of it, because we have name, age, rank, and then we have each row. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. So we want to separate the headers into one place and then the rows into another place, because what we're trying to accomplish is we're going to make an array of objects where each object has name, age, rank. So each object should have name, age, rank for each person in our list. So to do that, we need to first isolate the headers. To get the headers, I'm going to say, okay, so we need some inputs here, a string, and we also need the separator, which is the delim, set by default to comma, because we use a comma. So here we're going to say string dot slice from 0. So we're slicing from the start to when we have our new line separator. So for each row of the CSV data is broken by an imaginary /n character, which signifies new line. So we're going to start from the front of name and then stop at the end of the line, and then we're going to split that into an array using the delim. So if we log this first, let me just log it so we see where we are. Let's log this. So submit. I don't think I've called it. Okay, I haven't called it. So in the button here, we should have a prevent default and a submit. Okay, we should have a submit. Okay, we didn't call it here. Inside here, we should have a process CSV here. Using the text here. Yeah. So this delim is set by default to comma. So make sure you have this on-click handler here that will call for the submit. Yeah. So when you submit, it should process the CSV also. So click submit, and what do we have here? Index of. So it should be index of, not index. Okay, so submit again. Okay, so now we have an array saying name, age, and rank, which is the first row, which is what we're trying to get. So the next thing we want, we have the headers now. We want the rows. So const rows will be equal to string the slice. Now it's going to start from where the first one stopped, which is this guy here. The only difference is we'll be adding 1 to it, plus 1. So to start from the end of the first line and then go on to the last line. So we're going to do all the lines from the first line. And we're going to split this by our new line character. So it's going to take the second to the last line and then split them into an array of different rules. So if I save this and check it out, you can see these 3 are this row, these 3 are this row, these 3 are this row, so and so on, up to, there's an extra here, so I think we need to take away 1. Or okay, we'll probably have an empty row in the CSV file, so that's why we have this stuff here. So the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to make everything like this. We're going to combine everything to look like this. So to combine everything to look like that, we'll have to use the 2 arrays we've generated to form a new array. So I'm going to say const array, or you call it new array, is equal to rows.map. Map our row. Now to the map, we'll create a new array here from all the arrays we have. So first we're going to itemize the values in our row to row.split using delimiter, and then this. So we're going to split everything in each row. You know, in each row here we have John 24 Sergeant. We're going to split it into another array of John 24 and Sergeant as items in that array. Then next, we're going to use the headers to form each object. So I'm going to say each object is equal to headers dot reduce. Headers dot reduce. Now obj header and the index. Now obj header will be equal to values I. So what we're doing here is that when we get to name, this could be name age or rank. So when we get to name, we set name to either to John or Peter or Roman or Grace. And then when we get to age, we set age to 24 or 21 or 26. When we get to rank, we set it to any of the ranks being looked over. So this will generate each of these objects. Now, it might be a lot to understand, but there are other ways you could do it. You can try other ways. This is not the only way, but you can just try to understand this and see how you can make yours. So I'll put my object, empty object here. So when it's done, it returns obj here. And when that is also done, to return each object. So obj is a single item. It's updating single items inside our main object, and each object represents the entire object. And the new array is the array of multiple objects. So right after we have a new array, we're going to set. Okay, so let me create something else here. CSV array, set CSV array. So this will be an empty array. So set CSV array to new array. Okay. So when it's done, it sets CSV array to new array. So so I'll quickly do something here just take away that warning. Array length return 0 question mark. I just say no for now, just to remove the warning. So I'm going to click submit here and check the state. So this state here has this guy. Oh, I've not pushed anything yet. So add simple CSV, submit it. Now you see we have an array of objects. So we have an empty line at the end of our CSV file. That's why there's this guy here. We can ignore it. So on 0, you can see the information for the person on 0. On 1, you see the information, and so on.